So Kelly, sometimes in this journey, we see people really struggle deeply with feelings of shame, of worthlessness, and that can be a unique combination to tie to this idea of surrendering, because they maybe feel like they just surrender all the time. They just give up because I'm worthless. I can't do it. How do you encourage them to trust God's process for them and to see and believe that He is committed to them and their healing no matter how long it takes? What do you say to someone that's maybe stuck in some of that mindset?
This is a place that I think I made some breakthroughs this year. For my struggle was really in worth for a lot of my life. And I guess this is my answer is I would share my story of, on this process, you know, it started with my betrayal story and then quickly turned into my story of love addiction. And, what I stepped into this arena of healing, um, just opened up this beautiful journey, hard and painful, but really beautiful. And, just 11 years in to walking the journey, I really thought I had a grasp on some things, but just I did the PSAP training, and in that training, I listened to Marnie Free's testimony, and I walked out of that day and I was so highly triggered. It was insane, and I thought, how could I be triggered that much after all the work that I've done? And but she really hit on a lot of these wounds of worthiness, and it caused me to go back into some counseling, and in that, um, really facing some. I thought I was going to be going back to deal with some of my childhood abuse because I had done a bit of work there, but not a lot. But I felt like I was stable, and I really thought that's what I was going back to, but it really wasn't. The journey was more about like all of these messaging that I had throughout my life about my worth and my value, of people not being there for me, people not supporting me, people not believing me, people leaving me, people rejecting me, and just this deep, deep sense of like, what is my worth? And in that it was just this beautiful journey of like God stepping in and speaking over me who I was in Him, like really solidifying my identity in Him. And um and a big piece of it came, I put this in the last blog that I wrote, but it was so powerful. This counselor said to me after sharing some of these things, it's no wonder. It's no wonder this is where you were. And that was so freeing for me because I felt so
Mm.
seen and so like valued. Like finally somebody sees what happened, and that just tended to my little Kelly heart so well. And so I don't know. I don't even know what the question is at this point, but it's like just this journey of really that worth and that shame that we feel, there's a source of it, and this journey is so worth taking to go in and find it and deal with it and put it to rest once and for all. So I don't know if that made any sense, but that's where I went.
That was good. Uh, I think so many of us have wounds that lead us to believe we're not worthy, we're
Yeah.
unlovable, we just aren't good enough, and there's some shame around. I guess I'll just speak for my own situation. There's a weakness in admitting that, and when I went to that first group, as a point, there was enough pain there that I'm like, I'm just going to bear everything and let the chips fall where they may. And began to admit those weaknesses and those areas of shame in my life. And when those men didn't reject me, which is what I expected, that led me to have a better understanding of God's grace. Ted talks about a radical encounter with God's grace. And it was in that space that I began to go, these men know me. They still love me, which I have a hard time believing. But then that began to grow into, God loves me too. And then the next step was, my worth doesn't come from whether these men love me. It comes from whether God loves me and who I am in Him. I always tell people in group, the goal is, we're clinically based, clinically informed, biblically and based, but this really is, the 7 pillars, trailing beyond, is about our identity, who we are. And once we discover who that is, and we know that God loves us, that He loves us, that He loves us, and we can't escape that love, then that lie that we believed about being unworthy or not enough begins to dissolve.
Yeah. I think what you're both hitting on is to understand it's really difficult to surrender to anything when we believe we're worthless or unworthy, because then the fear is that we will be treated like we deserve. Mm-hmm. If I surrender to you and I'm worthless, you're going to treat me like I'm worthless. Right. And part of our healing and recovery is to learn that God sees us as truly valuable. I think one of my aha moments in recovery was recognizing that I thought God saw me as just an amplified version of how I saw me. Mm-hmm. That we both agreed with my assessment. He just knew it even better than I did because He was all-knowing. And realizing that there is like a reality of God that is totally separate from me, and that His value and assessment of me are coming from completely different angles than what I perceive, was so freeing to know that, that there is value assigned to me by God, not by anything I have done. And I knew all that. I knew the right verses. I'd preached them.
Right.
But to actually experience them at that deep heart level of knowing like, I have value and worth. Because then if you truly know that in a deep place, then surrendering to God, who knows you and values you that way, or believing that others will see your value, surrendering to a process, being vulnerable to a group now becomes different, because there's not that fear of, I'm going to be treated like I deserve because this is who I am. So I think you're just echoing how important it is that we recognize those fears, and where a sense of worthlessness or shame might be driving our own identity and keeping us from the kind of surrender that actually would set us free.
Thanks for making that connection. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.